This is TVNR. Welcome to another episode of TVNR. If it's your first time tuning in, whether it be via my IGTV or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or other streaming platforms, welcome. The purpose of the podcast is to inform you about the inner workings of the television and radio industry, and I'm really excited about today's conversation. We speak with Owen Swanson, who is the owner of Owen Swanson Management, which, by the way, has a new name. Please welcome Owen Swanson.
Hey,
welcome. I know this is not your kind of thing. You don't do this very often.
I don't, yeah. I don't. So you asked me to do this, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Amazing, because there's a lot of people who have lots of questions. I get DMs from people asking, how do I get an agent? People ask me, help me become a brand ambassador. I'm like, I don't know if I can help you with that. But I thought I could help them with the inner workings of talent management, because there's a lot of scams as well that exist out there. So let's start from literally the beginning. I'm a young artist from wherever, Joburg based, maybe out of town. I've just come into town. I've decided I want to be an actress. Is getting an agent the first sort of point that you sort of want to, or sort of tick?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, without an agent, you don't get those opportunities. You can look, if you have a lot of friends that are possibly, actors as well, that are maybe a little bit higher than you in the food chain, i.e. they're going to castings, you can find out about, castings that they go to. But ideally, you want to get an agent. You want to get an agent. The agent will send you to castings, and you will put your fishing line in the water and hopefully catch a fish.
And how do agents get briefs? Like, why can't I just get the briefs? Why does it have to be through an agent?
So, look, most legitimate sort of like work from TV commercials or television dramas or telenovelas or sitcoms or film, they want to work with proper actors, and usually proper actors are represented by talent agents. So those briefs will come from production companies or from ad agencies to agents, to talent agents, and then the talent agents will look at who they represent, and then they will send those briefs to who they think is right for that particular role. You're not going to.
So it's kind of sifting through the people to make sure that we're not just sending to everyone.
That's correct.
And then there's something we call open calls, where literally there's an advertisement to say they're looking for such and such an actor or such and such an actress. How does that work, and what's the difference from the briefs that you guys receive?
So, those open calls, especially nowadays with, social media, you'll hear about, a well-known telenovela or soapy having auditions, and they'll say, get down to the Joburg Civic Theatre between, 9 and 5 on this Saturday. I think that is maybe just giving other people an opportunity and a chance. Also, sometimes is the case when productions or directors or producers don't really know what they're looking for, and they just want to see people until they see someone with a particular, fire in their eyes or something that really resonates with that character.
And say I don't want to leave it up to that chance where I wait for an open call and I decide I'm going to take this thing seriously and I'm going to get an agent. There's lots of agencies out there. Firstly, how do I get an agent? Secondly, how do I know the difference between the real ones and the not so real ones?
Okay, so you're young, you've just, like you were saying, you've come to Joburg, or, you've moved into a city where you want to be an actor, for example, in Cape Town, and there's a lot of Cape Town agents and productions that are happening down there, and in Durban as well, and other little places in South Africa. You want to do your research. You want to find out sort of, what are your options? Obviously, it's important, as we've now talked about, an actor getting an agent, but what kind of agents are out there? What kind of artists do they represent? Where's their strength? Do I want to be an actor in TV? Obviously, then I want to move to, or I want to join an agency, a talent agency that has got strength in in actors that are in television already.
Yeah.
So you want to do your research, you want to look around, and you want to make sure that also that talent agent, for example, doesn't have 50 other people that are my age, my race, speak my languages, because then you're just going to be a part of a huge amount of other people that are going for the same job. So there's a lot of research that you should do as an actor before you get into an agency. And then also talking about these fake agencies, or these agencies that are not real agencies. I think it's also important in your research, when you go into these talent agents' websites, to have a look and go, oh, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person, because they're working. They're in television, or you've seen them in a film, or you've seen them in TV commercials and that kind of a thing. As soon as you sort of see like more than 70% or half of a talent agent's roster, then you're like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah, then you're just like random people. Okay. Sure. So now I've done my research. I know I want to be a theater actor. I found an agency that, specializes in theater actors. What's the next step? Because there's so many of people like me who are trying to get in.
Good question. All right. So for everyone listening, if they are in the same boat, i.e., they're looking for an agent, or they might have approached someone and nothing's happened, I think it's really important to get a CV going, right? Or to get a performance resume going. Now, younger artists, or ones that are just studying, or that don't have much of a CV, you can still put together something, with your skills. For example, if you want to be a musical theater performer, what does your voice sound like, and all of those different kind of skills that are associated with musical theater. Or, what accents are you good at? You can really start building up a really nice performance resume. Keeping it nice and tidy and neat and pleasant to look at and legible, and all of that you can attach to your email that you send out to the talent agent that you ideally want to be with. And then obviously your second and third and fourth choice, if that's the way that you're going to go about.
Okay, but with that, so I'll tell you my story of how I got an agent. I was studying at UJ, and it wasn't the time of Wi-Fi and, where you have internet. So I'm not that old, but you didn't have like internet on your phone. You literally just didn't have it on your phone. So I was like, how do I navigate this? I'd sit at the computer lab and I just Google agencies, and I went from, finding an extras agency to finally getting a list of proper reputable agencies, and no one would hear me out. Also, I had very little to no experience. I went to Gaynor, I knocked on their door, and Miranda and Jangase used to work there at the time, and I said to her, I was on the phone with you, and you hung up the phone on me and said, we're not looking for any artists. And I said, please, can I just do a monologue for you? And then I did that for her, and literally they signed me up. Is this to encourage everyone to knock at OSM talents?
Look, I think I speak maybe for like all the talent agents around. We get bombarded by emails by people looking for representation. I don't know what it is. I think people that already are lawyers or accountants, they think to themselves, they probably wake up and they're like, let me see if I can be an actor. Let me just send an email to a talent agent, and see what happens. So I think as talent agents, we're quite closed off to being approached, to welcoming anyone new. I mean, we definitely, if we get an artist that sends us an email or makes us a call, calls us and says, look, I'm so-and-so, I've done this, that, and the next thing, you do kind of like lean in, and lean forward to hear who that artist is all about. But I think it's like, we do like persistence, but not just for the sake of it. And I mean, that was golden. I mean, your personality has not changed. You're just a go-getter. So of course, yes, say I want to come and do a performance, but then you better knock the socks off of that performance, and make an impression. Which I'm sure. And
you mentioned that, if you say you've done such and such work, it's tricky, because how am I going to do the work if I'm not getting the calls to go and audition to get the work? It's like a 9 to 5. It's like you need experience, but you need a job to get experience. So what do I do? Where do I start? It's frustrating.
Look, I mean, Yeah, it is frustrating. I mean, I studied to be an actor. I studied for 4 long years at film school at AFTA in Joburg.
But I didn't. You see, so, and then that's another conversation as well, where, there's a lot of film students who are coming out of AFTA or coming out of this or whatever it may be, and they're looking at like a Thando who's working on television. I studied to become accounting, and I can get how that can anger you. But what advice would you have, for those people? Mine would always be, it's none of your business what Thando is doing or what anybody else is actually doing. It's what are you doing? Yes, you went to school, and that's a great plus, I imagine, when you're looking for an agent.
Well, Tony, you make me laugh. Okay, so I think what they should have done, instead of getting angry with someone like you who taking all their jobs or at least like booking work, is to go, what is she doing right? What is she doing that I'm not doing? And as soon as they have that approach, I think they might do some self-reflection and go, oh,
100%.
okay, well, she is going from audition to audition. She's going to the gym. She's looking after herself. She's learning a new accent. She is mingling with cast. She's going to the right event. She's going to the openings of theater shows. She's saying hello to casting directors. Those are all the things that you probably did, and as to why you were nailing it. Of course, there is a thing called luck, but that whole luck definition of in preparation meeting opportunity.
100%.
So yeah, but like going back to what I said after finish, I was like, okay, I've finished, I'm studied, I'm a great actor. Now what? Where's the work?
Like give me the jobs.
You got to work at it, and you got to be patient. This is the thing. For those guys that things aren't happening, you've got to be patient, but you've also got to be honest with yourself and look in the mirror in the morning and go, am I going to do everything I can today to try and make it happen? Even if that means I'm not going to a casting, but I'm going to get ready for every day that comes until there is a casting, and then I'm going to nail it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing castings, like I did so many castings, it felt like the job. Like I'd look forward to the castings because that's as close as I'd get to the job. That's how sad it got. Literally.
Sad. So do you know what's so cool in you saying that is that a lot of people see auditions or castings as, I'm just going to go and I'm going to give them a bit of an idea as to how I can play the character.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why you book the jobs. And those people that are listening
you're so
to
nice.
us talk now, when you go to an audition, you've got to pretend that camera is rolling, that you're on set that day and you're playing the role. I mean,
absolutely. Okay, I lost you there for a second. Got you back. Okay, let's move to artists who then have agents, right? So I have an agent, say I've just signed with OSM Talents, and they're sending me for auditions. I got my first audition. How does one prepare for that first day? What do you expect? Or? Like, so say for like, if I've never been to an audition in my life, what can I expect when I walk into that room?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, hopefully you would have been, so what I'm saying is if an artist had to join our agency, I would have expected them to kind of know what an audition is, right? But to give an idea as to what people should expect is, for you've got to play that. I'm just trying to think how. Just ask the question again, if you don't mind.
So if I'm going into an audition for the very first time, and I've never in my life walked into an audition room, you send me a brief. What am I expecting as I walk in? What happens? Like, just for someone who's perhaps curious, like what on earth happens like an audition?
Okay. Thank you for repeating that. I think it's absolute fear. I think, I mean, like I said, I mean, I studied for 4 years and they never taught us audition technique or what to expect. So it's absolute fear. I mean, you walk into that room and, the casting director might not have ever seen you before, but they don't know that this is not, your first audition. I think you will stumble through it, but basically, you'll be asked to, stand on a cross on the floor and stare into the camera, and say your name, age, and agency, and then the casting director will say, can you turn to the left or to the right? Usually in commercials, they want to see what your profile looks like, and they want to see your hands. They want to make sure you got all your fingers because they don't want to hold you to hold a Coca-Cola and you're missing a finger. So they do that. That's called the profile, sort of like check. And then after that, they will brief you and they will say, okay, cool. So just use me as an eye-line. I'll be the other person in the scene, while we're doing the dialogue, and we can rehearse it first. And then, they do a take, and then they usually say whether they think that's good or not. They ask you if you want to do another one. Usually